Hi there, Titans. My name is Paige, and today I'm going to show you how you can configure an Excel document to be an interactive document in your Titan web project. So let me show you my preview to show you what I mean by this. So in this example, I'm having an Excel document be loaded dynamically to fit the parameters that I decided. Here is the Excel version. So the user will be able to edit the columns to see the information within it, and then they can also download this information as well. You can also have the action take place on a button. So here it is previewing the same Excel document and a larger screen. And we have the account name right here, the account type, the billing address, which is empty in my Salesforce environment, and then the contacts that are related to this account, which some of mine do not have phone numbers or emails attached, and that is okay. So, and then they can also download the document, and you can choose to have it either in as a PDF or as an Excel project. Here it is. And so when they download it, they can see the table as well. And there we have it. Let me show you how this is done. So we start by configuring the Excel document. So let me open up Excel. Here is my builder. And just like we do use the word-addin, you also have a Excel add-in. So to add the Form Titan add-in, you'll go to Insert, go to Get Add-ins, search for Form Titan, and there it is. You can click Add, and it will add in the Form Titan add-in. And it's different than Word because we do not have a tab for it. Instead, all of the actions will take place within the side panel. So you can click on Form Titan, and then we can get logged in. Perfect. All right, once we are logged in, I'll just go ahead and delete everything so that we can do it together. All right, so let's get started. I typed in just name, type, and billing address, and this is where we're going to add in some basic fields. And then I'm going to create a table to display the contacts underneath this account. So let's start by inserting a field. And you'll see that this is a little bit different than how it was for the word-addin. So we do have to select the sheet and where this field will be inserted. And because I clicked on B4, this is where the cell will be. And because I want this to be the billing address, I'll type in billing address. Oh, this is the object, sorry. So let's type in account and then add a comment. And then this is where the field will be. So I'm going to add in the billing address. You also can add in more fields if you'd like, but because it's going to go down in a line like that, I'm just going to add one at a time and then go back up to the name. So now billing addresses is in there, and you can see the range. This is where it's going to be configured. It's a little bit different than the word-addin because the word-addin had those little tabs that showed that it was edited. This is where you will see where all of your configured fields will be. So let's add in a field for name. Insert field. Again, we have to select where we want this field to be located. And then because the next field is right below it, I will just add in the account type here too. All right, so I'm going to click insert. And now you can see the other two fields are right there. You can configure these to be whatever size you'd like them to be. All right, go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Now let's add in the table. And this table is going to hold the contact records who are assigned to the account in Salesforce. So I'm going to add in contacts. And because this is a table, I'm going to add in all of the header names and then the fields that are associated with that. So I'll do name, phone number, and email. And I'll choose full name, phone number, mobile, and then email. All right, and then I can delete this one since I only need 3 columns in this table. All right, insert table, and then we can configure it to be the size that we'd like it to be. Looks good to me. Now, something that's important to note here is that you have to be careful as you format your Excel document that you make sure that the range of these fields that you are inserting and pulling into the Excel document are where you truly want them to be. So say I added in a new column here just because I wanted it to be give it a little bit more space. We have to remember that this range did not change. So if you add in something, make sure you go back in and edit the range here. So I'm just going to delete this again so that my fields pull into the right place. I would just suggest double checking your range and that it's the place that you want it to go every time. So let's do this. So the B4 will be billing address. Yes, so that'll go there. Account type will be on B3. That's correct. Account name will be on B2. That is correct. And then this table will go from A7 to C7. So that's A7 to C7. And that works. And of course, there will be as many rows to this as there are contacts under the account that I select. All right, so now we are able to preview this. And I'm going to preview it using an account in my Salesforce environment. So let me go and grab my Salesforce. Just logging in real quick. All right, so I want to pull in, for this example, the Burlington Textiles Corporation. And we can see that we have some contacts underneath this account. Let's go ahead and just add in some phone numbers. So she has a let's add in a mobile number. We'll just copy this one and add it to the mobile. And then email, we'll do angela@burlington.com. Cool, save. And then under Roberto, we will also just move the phone number to the mobile phone number because that was the field that I mapped. Cool. Oh wait, I forgot his email. Save. All right, so then that will have some fields to pull. I'm going to copy the account ID. And again, this is just for the preview. Previews are good to help you make sure that everything is pulling in correctly. So the account ID equals other. We'll save that. That looks good. Oops, wrong Excel document. Cool. All right. And for every get, we need to make sure that the condition is mapped accordingly. So again, the account ID equals this. Save. And then the child contacts, the account ID equals, and we can do the parent get, because we're going to pull all the contacts where their account ID is equal to the account ID that we pulled the first time. And if multiple matches are found, we want to take all of them. We want to see a table of all of our contacts. And this is the limit, so I only have 3 contacts, so the limit of 100 is perfectly fine. I'm also going to configure this so that it's actually just the get of that first one, so that this account ID is equal to the account ID of that first get. Okay, so let's preview. Again, this is an important part of just making sure that your documents are rendering correctly. And as you can see, this is not the correct account. What this usually means is that it's pulling the first account. Let me just don't save that one, and then we'll come back and make sure this is mapped correctly. Again, yeah, so you can see the account ID, it went away. So account ID equals, and I'll drop in that, press save, save. That works. All right, so now let's preview. There we go. And that example of like it messing up, that does happen to me often. So if you pull in information that's not what you expected, just check those filters again. I'm sure that one of them got cleared on accident and it is okay. Okay, so we got all of our fields. Billing address, this must be blank on this account. I'm not worried about that. All of those contacts are being pulled in. Looks wonderful. All right, so now we are ready. You don't need to save that. Now we are ready to publish. And the only thing that I want to change is that the account ID equals, instead of other, we're just going to say record ID. Then we can click save, save, and make sure that these are all mapping accordingly. Okay, so let's set this up again. Account ID equals, and because this is the account, you can either just choose record ID or you can choose the account ID from that first get. Either one will work. And then here, contact ID, account ID equals, there we go, account ID, save. Let me just make sure that I pulled in everything correctly. Yeah, I forgot to. So it's referencing that first get, and then we need to make sure that we map it to the account ID from that first get. Save. All right. So now all we have to do is actually just save this document for this example. You could publish it to a form, but that's not what we're doing today. So I just saved my document, and then we can open up, we can open up our project in Titan Web. Okay, here is the project that we're working on. And I'm going to restart everything with you. So I'll just go ahead and delete. Well, you know what? We'll just start a new project. Go to new project. This is going to be a web. Everything looks good. Lovely. Now, we can set up the DocGen by just going to Settings, go to Tools, and then Document Generation is down here. This is where we're going to add in the new template. And this is why we did not need to publish that document that we were working on. We can just drop it in right here. So I'm going to click on this, and then my PDF is, let's find it. Here it is. Open. There is the name. We can give it a better label. So I'm going to call it Account Details. And then the record ID. We need to add in a variable for the record ID. So I'm going to set a project or a global parameter. I'm going to choose static. And then this will be the account ID. Now, if this was a part of a form, like, or a long interface where the user would be creating an account or referencing their account, then you would use this parameter to save their account ID and then pull in the document generation from that unique account ID. But since this is just an example, I'm just going to set the default value to be our account ID from our example account in Salesforce. All right, so I'm going to click Apply. And so this record ID can be this global parameter account ID, which is just a static reference to this account. Now you can choose whether you want this output format to be Excel or PDF. For this first run, we're going to do Excel. So we can see, I'm going to show you both, and we get to see both. Now, one thing to know about General is that this is what will, if you're ever mapping this document into Salesforce, this is how it will configure. It will be either Excel or PDF, and you have to choose that. That's what's important about the General tab. It also is how you are going to, upload the template itself. Now we need to enable preview. So this is a way to preview the document. The users will be able to see it and then interact with it however they want. Again, for this first example, we're going to just output it as Excel. And the cool thing about previews, you can actually add on extra actions through buttons. So this one, I'm going to actually call it download. And then the configure action, I can't set it up now, but I want the configure action to be to download the Excel document. And you can have multiple actions. So if you wanted it, things to be like created or updated, or if you wanted a flying banner of messages to come through after they click the button, really anything, any action can be done through these buttons. All right. Then I'm going to enable download. Again, we're going to keep it Excel for now. You can make it a dynamic file name if you like by creating a parameter, or you can just make it a custom name. So I'm going to call it account details. Now this is new and very important. Sometimes the download can take a few seconds, and so we need a way to show the user that we are working on configuring that download for them, so they don't click the button like 5 times and then they get 5 documents. Nobody wants that. So you have a couple options. You can either have the freeze the screen while it's generating so they're not able to click the button multiple times, Or you can do the progress bar. I personally like this because it shows them that we're working on something. They can see an immediate action. It helps them like with their patients. So I'm going to show the progress bar. You can also do email if you'd like. So if you wanted the action to be enable email or to email it to them, then you can do that. Today I'm just going to do download. And then the captions, this is a great way to just change up the way that it looks for the user. So if you want to have some unique marketing or user experience, then you can do this by just changing up the language that they see on the document and interface. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the preview, and on this action, the button that I created, I'm going to configure the action. And there's a document generation action, so I'm going to set that. The template, whoops, I have not saved my template yet, so it's not shown. So let's just apply. And now the template is saved. So I can go back into the template, go to that preview, and then on this, I can configure the action, do document generation, and now the template is there. I hope that makes sense. Originally, I did not apply the template, so it was not saved yet. Now it is saved, and I can see the action. So the action is now set to download, apply, 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 apply. And so now we have enabled preview, and we need to assign this preview action to something in the form. So I'm going to show you two examples of how you can assign this action. I'll choose close. We can either maybe the options are really limitless, but for this example, I'm going to have a preview button. So I'm going to call it preview, click to preview Excel document generation. Okay, we resize it so you can see everything that I wrote there. That's a button. And then on this button, we can click on the hyperlink to configure the on-click action. And then this action is going to be document generation. And the template is that template we have saved. And then the action will be preview. So I'm going to click apply, 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 save. Now let's preview this. And then when I click on the button, it is generating our Excel document. And there it is. So the user will be able to move the columns, see everything they want to see. Very, very cool. And then look, we have that download button. So they can either download it from over here or down here. I'm going to click on it, and there is our progress bar. So the user is like, okay, something was happening. And then they have the document right here. Isn't that so cool? All right, let's go back. Now I'm going to do a couple new things. We are going to change it up so that we can see it in PDF format. So let's go back to Tools, go into our document generation. We'll edit our template, and we're going to change all of these to PDF. PDF, PDF. So we can choose how close we want it to be zoomed. I'm going to choose 80%. We'll see what that looks like. Download, again, let's change it to PDF. It looks like it already changed for us. Cool. All right. I'm going to click apply, close. And then another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the interactive document widget. And this allows it to be embedded in the document or in the project rather than it loading on its own screen and taking up the whole screen. So you can drop in this document, interactive document, resize it to fit your project needs, and then click on the settings wheel. This is where we can choose which template will load in this interactive document and what action it is. So this is going to be preview. We can choose what the loading message is, We can define more like on-click actions, hide on load, custom zoom. Really, really cool. Now let's save and preview this a second time. So the changes that we made is it's now a PDF, and I've included this interactive document. So right now it is making it a PDF, and we can see the name, the table, and it looks like it cut it off and to the next page. So that is a pro and con of switching to PDF. Let's choose our on-click action on this button to preview it here. And it should look the same. There it is. Wonderful. And then we can also download it. So to make everything fit in the screen, I think what we would do is just make the table a little bit smaller so that it can fit on the page. And there we have it. Really, really cool. I really love this functionality. I think it's really fun, and I hope that it can help with your own company processes. Thank you for watching.